Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Joe Emilio Show. My name is Joe Emilio. I'm your host. It would appear the Civilian Secretariat of Police was trying to pull the wool over GOSA's eyes, as well as some other organizations, by fast-tracking a webinar, or at least trying to hold a webinar without them knowing or being invited. Here to elaborate more on this story is Tshepi Mmekwa from Girls on Fire and GOSA. Tshepi, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, tired, and everything under the sun.
All right. So, Tshepi, you brought to my attention earlier a webinar that was being held by the Civilian Secretariat of Police on the proposed amendments for the Firearm Control Act. We have spoken about this proposed amendments to the bill before on the show. I'll link I'll put a link in the description for the full show on that. But what was interesting about the video you sent me, which I'm also going to link in the description below, it feels like Bheki Cele was trying to do some cloak and dagger under the dead of night kind of vibe to try and avoid some organizations
Correct.
from joining this webinar, and specifically those that go against their narrative. So I think we're a good point to start here is please explain why it was important for GOSA to be part of this webinar.
Well, first of all, it's important to remember that with the proposed amendments to the bill, there needs to be stakeholder participation. And it is imperative for key stakeholders to engage on this bill, launch their objections. And at this stage, basically, we were not given the opportunity to do so. We actually had to force our way into this webinar, which we received information about basically around Monday, Tuesday, and this is supposed to be happening Thursday and Friday. By the way, we didn't even have an agenda at that point in time, which is even more bizarre. And by the time we actually received the list of speakers was last night. Now, lo and behold, these names on these famous speakers include SAFA, by the way, football, uh, includes environmental affairs and our very, very, very friendly Adele Kirsten. I wonder why. So, key stakeholders like AfriForum, DSA, um, GOSA, Girls on Fire. None of these people, even Wits, was not invited to this webinar. Now, we have to wonder why. Why is this all under cloak and dagger? Why in the dead of night are all these things happening when we've launched our objections and everything else that goes with it? But you do not involve the very people who are involved in the industry, key stakeholders. There is a reason why it's called key stakeholders. So we felt obliged, number one, to interdict this or to stop it. To make it worse, we have been having stage 4 load shedding, and you want a webinar. You're serious about this for 2 days. You want a webinar. And you're doing this hush hush. There's people all over the country experiencing load shedding at different times, and you want a webinar. How pretty does this look right now? I'm sure I'm not making this stuff. You can't make this stuff up, you know. There is a reason why we are not wanted in these engagements. Because at the end of the day, when these engagement, public stakeholder engagement, this period ends, then they will say, "Oh no, but we engaged with everybody, and we agree that firearms, self-defense should go. This and that should go." But they didn't speak to us.
Yeah, I think one thing I do want to touch on as well is because you brought it up momentarily is WITS. Now, WITS had a what they call the WITS School of Governance report, which is a very important document. Can you tell us why this document is important, and the also kind of cloak and dagger seems to be a theme, kind of like they actually tried to suppress this document from the public.
So let's start from the beginning, which is the very interesting part. This research was commissioned by the ministry itself. And yes, the shocker in the whole story. And it didn't produce the results that they were expecting. That's even worse. So it basically says that the issue is not the firearms. The issue is SAPS not doing its job. That's basically what it says. So, listen, I think if I was Bheki Cele and the Minister of Police, I would squash them. If I am gun free South Africa, I would sit on it. I will do everything so that it does not come out. But the fact of the matter is, we got it out. We got it out, and we basically gave it to the public. Make your own assessment on the whole situation. And this is a problem because you commission a report, you commission research to be done, and then you sit on it and squash it. Why? Why? What's in it? What was interesting for us is what's in it that you don't like. Guess what? They liked none of it. None of it. Absolutely zero. It is so bad for them that they just couldn't. They just couldn't. And it was best just to hide it. But we are GOSA. We are Girls on Fire. We will find these things. We will dig them up, we will find them, and we will let the public make their own decisions about what the hell is going on here.
We spoke last time, and also I got frustrated. I'm getting frustrated again just thinking about it because the government wants to claim that it's fighting the second pandemic, as they call it, which is GBV.
Yeah.
But here we go again with this shady kind of, in the dead of night, trying to push this bill through, which will take away the excuse to own a firearm for self-defense. I mean, Tshepi, once again, how does this make you feel? Isn't it a slap in the face, figuratively, to all the women in South Africa that are victims of GBV? And not just
It's
women,
no
men
longer
as well.
slap. It's no longer a slap, it's a fist. It's a massive punch to the face. Now, let's go back just a little here. We had the July riots. We had the July riots happening. Gauteng, Natal. Let it be on record that licensed firearm people were called upon by their DFOs to assist the police in containing the situation. That is, number one, a disaster. That tells you the SAPS can do nothing right. Point number two, we have an issue with DNA. DNA is still an issue in this country, and it's even worse now. Point number three, you've got a SAPS that cannot print license cards right now because the supplier has said, no, actually, I don't want to deal with you. You're bad news. I'm done. You don't pay. You don't do anything correct. So there are license cards that are not being printed. So people are submitting for approval and everything else, but they will not receive a card right now because SAPS cannot pay. Let's state it fair and square. SAPS is an admin disaster. This is not waiting to blow over. This has blown over. It's volcanic. It's done. It's erupting every single day. There is new things every single day. We have reports of more and more guns missing out of SAPS's hands. Are we serious right now? Are we serious? This is worse. And then you want to cloak and dagger everything. Minister, you can't not be able to print cards, not being able to do DNA, and not being able to coil riots, and then expect us not to find out. We will find out. You're bad at secrecy anyway.
Oh man, the shambles, the shambles, the shambles, the shambles. Tshepi, like, in closing, I want to ask you, like, what's next? I mean, what is GOSA's plan from here on out?
Well, there are a number of challenges that we've got basically started, and the biggest one right now is also around the printing of license cards. I mean, SAPS has an issue. So our argument is a license the card or is a license the number? And if it is indeed, if the court can clarify that for us, it would be fantastic, because for us, the license is the number, and people should be able to receive their firearms or collect their firearms from the stores they purchased them from with a license number. This is important because this has reached epic proportion, and SAPS has no clue what they're going to do. They don't have anybody in line to actually do this work for them. And basically, we're still on about removing the administration of the firearms, of CFR away from SAPS. So those are basically our biggest challenges right now. We're attacking them head on. We're forging ahead, and we're basically pulling all our resources together with other organizations. It's not just GOSA and Girls on Fire. A number of organizations have basically come together to say, this is the challenge, and it affects all of us.
Well, I wish you and GOSA the best of luck. I really do. I will put all supporting links in the description below so people can go check it out. Check out your website. For the women out there that are watching this, please join the Girls on Fire program. It's awesome. I got to see them in action the beginning of this year. So yeah, highly recommend those that those women that want to fight back, join the Girls on Fire program. Tshepi,
actually, we do have another event coming up at the end of this month.
Okay.
Yes, on Black Friday, actually.
Oh,
so if people are around in Centurion, we're having it at Wildman, Centurion, Girls on Fire. Sign up, come and join us. It's going to be epic, and we are launching the 16 days of action, not activism, action.
Yes.
So we refuse to be victims. Yes. So it's 16 days of action. So let the ladies go into the Facebook page and sign up.
Fantastic. Once again, I'll leave all the links in the description below. Are you doing anything in Cape Town soon?
We're working on that. We are definitely working on that. You are first on the list in terms of Cape Town, because we know we've got people in Cape Town who are hustling us. You can't do anything in Joburg.
Awesome. Cool.
working on it. And you'll be the first to know, Joe.
Fantastic. Yeah, perhaps next time when you, or perhaps when you have all the details, we'll have you on the show. We'll promote the event. So yeah, Tshepi, once again, thank you so much for joining me on the show. It was great to chat to you again, and we'll keep an eye on this story. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think of this story? Do you think Bheki Cele is trying desperately to push through this bill without any resistance? Please comment below. I'd really like to know your thoughts on this. If you really enjoyed the video, please like and share. This is your second reminder to please subscribe to my channel. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.